Keep Buying Part 1. How to turn today's earnings into future freedom? At 12 o'clock at night, an employee saw a message on his phone about salary being credited. He smiled, paid the bills and went to sleep. But that very night, a fear of his future was quietly waking up, because salary can come every month, not always. One day the job can be lost, the body can stop supporting as much, but the expenses of home, medical treatment and family are not going to stop. Now the question is whether today's small financial habit can turn that fear into freedom in the coming years. Maggiulli's answer is straightforward: just keep buying. This point is from his book, Just Keep Buying, which tries to understand the tangled questions of personal finance not through prediction but through data and long historical evidence. But one thing is clear at the outset. This is not a formula to get rich overnight, not a promise of any guaranteed return, and also not advice to keep buying just any asset under all circumstances. This story is especially for that employee whose income comes, expenses are covered and a little money is left at the end of the month, but they do not understand what the next right step should be. Maggiulli is a data scientist, financial writer and the chief operating officer of 𝐟𝐨𝐥𝐿 Wealth Management. His work is to turn the human behavior hidden behind numbers into simple personal finance lessons. His blog of Dollars and Data is known for data-driven analysis on saving, investing and wealth. That means his thinking starts not from rumor, but from asking questions and examining evidence. There are only 3 words to his central idea: just keep buying. Meaning, keeping a part of your income invested regularly in productive and diversified assets over a long period, according to a fixed plan. Here, buying does not mean running behind some trending stock. It means building a portfolio in which risk does not depend on one company, one sector or one story. Stocks, bonds, broad index funds and other assets according to need can be part of that portfolio. The right mix will depend on every individual's goal, time and capacity to tolerate loss. Think of it like an ordinary habit. Just as rent goes on time, grocery comes regularly, similarly investment should also become a pre-decided process, not a leftover wish after receiving the salary. Today digital platforms have made starting with a small amount easy. Through index funds and ETFs, partnership in many businesses can be received at the same time, although convenience never eliminates risk. It is also a mistake to consider investing free by looking at low brokerage or an easy app. Expense ratio, taxes, tracking difference, wrong product and emotional decisions, all of these can have their own cost. In India, SEBI also emphasizes diversification, goal, risk appetite and long-term perspective. Therefore, the message of the book is useful, but it is necessary to understand it along with local rules and one's own financial reality. The real strength of this approach is not telling the next turn of the market. Its strength is accepting that no individual can continuously identify the correct top and bottom. When prediction is weak, the process must be strong. Regular investing can reduce decision fatigue and save from that temptation in which an investor changes their plan on every headline. Still, protection is necessary before starting. Without looking at the status of everyday cash, emergency reserve, necessary insurance and very expensive debt, putting every rupee into the market would not be wise. Now the story comes to that fundamental question, after all, why invest? Nick places 3 reasons behind it: future self, protection from inflation, and turning human capital into financial capital. The first reason is connected to your future self. That person is not a stranger, it is you. Just their hair will be white, energy will be less, and monthly salary will probably have stopped. The problem is that a young mind does not feel that elderly face as its own. Therefore, today's comfort feels very real, while the need decades later appears blurry. In behavioral research, people were shown their digitally aged faces. Those who saw their future self in a more vivid form showed a willingness to keep more money in a hypothetical retirement allocation than the control group. This is not a magical photo trick, but a sign of psychology. When the person of the future feels like our own, then the money saved for them feels not like a sacrifice but like a responsibility. Do a small exercise. See yourself at 70 years of age. Where will you live? Who will you be with? And who will bear the expenses of that month when working should not be your compulsion? This very picture turns a vague dream into a concrete goal. I will save money sometime is a weak sentence. I will invest on every salary for my future expenses is far more actionable. Making money for your old age is not selfish. On the contrary, preparation for financial independence can reduce the sudden financial and emotional pressure falling on children or relatives in the future. The more prepared you are, the more choices will remain for the family. At the time of education, caregiving, or a medical emergency, they will not have to choose between your incomplete planning and their own needs. Today's salary is the fruit of your hard work, but after retirement, the engine of income changes. Then instead of working every day, assets built over years can handle some part of the expenses. This is not guaranteed passive income. Market return changes, rent can stop, and there is risk in bonds too. Still, capital can give more choices than depending only on salary. The second reason is inflation, such a slow leak that reduces the power of a bank balance without decreasing it. The amount appears the same, but the things bought with it become less. The grocery basket, school fee, or medical service whose price feels normal today, that very thing can become quite expensive years later. Inflation does not erase your need, it only increases its price. That is why inflation is spoken of as an invisible tax. No bill comes to your house, yet every increasing price cuts a little part from the purchasing power of old savings. Simple math shows that at continuous 2% inflation, purchasing power can become half in approximately 36 years. Around 5%, this very effect can come in about 14 years. This is the nominal illusion. Suppose your money increased in numbers, but prices rose faster than that. The statement can show a profit, whereas in real life your purchasing power would have decreased. This does not mean the entire cash is useless. For emergencies and near-future expenses, liquid, relatively safe money is necessary. Next month's rent is not left to the reliance of market volatility. But keeping every long-term goal only in idle cash can create a different risk. Here the job of investing is not to give a guarantee of return but to create the probability of beating inflation. Some productive assets can increase income or value over time. But their path is not straight. They also fall, can remain weak for a long time, and can also give capital loss. Buying a stock is not buying a changing price on a screen, but buying a small part of ownership in a business. If the earnings of that business increase, a probability of the shareholder getting a benefit is formed in the long run. In a bond, you lend money to the government or a company and expect interest on fixed terms. Generally, its behavior is different from equity. Risk is not zero. Real estate can give rent and value growth, but also brings maintenance, vacancy, tax, legal issues, and low liquidity along with it. Therefore, an asset is not chosen only by its headline return. The book uses long-term American market data, where diversified stocks made more wealth than cash and many bonds. But that history cannot become a guarantee for India's future. This is the reason why diversification is so important. If your entire future rests on one company, one property, or one sector, then one wrong event can injure the hard work of years. A diversified portfolio does not eliminate risk, but can limit the impact of any single failure. SEBI also explains this very role of broad index exposure in reducing individual stock risk. Then comes compounding. When the return received from investment remains in the portfolio and further starts earning return itself, then time can gradually become the most powerful companion of growth. But compounding is not a smooth escalator. Some years can bring fast growth, some years decline, and some years almost a standstill. Average return and the real yearly experience are not the same. This is where the test of just keep buying begins. In a bull market, everyone can look disciplined. The real character comes forward when the portfolio is red and the news is selling fear. If the goal is long, the emergency fund is separate, and the asset allocation is correct, then continuing planned investment in a decline can get more units at a lower price. Still, recovery does not come at a fixed time. In a bear market, the mind hears two voices. One says sell everything. The second says take more risk. A wise process saves from both extremes and returns to the pre-decided plan. But putting that money into this test, which is needed soon, is dangerous. For the essential goals of the next few years, the asset choice can be different and more conservative. Now the third reason is the most interesting, turning human capital into financial capital. Human capital is the economic form of your knowledge, health, skills, experience, time, and capacity to earn income in the future. At the beginning of a career, the bank balance can be small, but many years of working ahead are remaining. Therefore, a young person's financial capital may be low, human capital relatively big. With every passing year, skill can get better, salary can increase, but the number of future working years keeps decreasing. This very countdown of time makes human capital a limited asset. You earn a salary and turn human capital into cash. By putting a part of that cash into productive assets, you make it financial capital, which can work in the economy even during your sleeping time. This very conversion is the heart of the entire story. The income you earn today by giving time, by saving a small part of it, you prepare such a worker for the future who does not need retirement. This worker can contribute in the form of dividend, interest, rent, or value growth. Every source is uncertain, but diversified capital together can form the capacity to replace some part of your future salary. The purpose of financial capital is not just to leave a job. It can give the freedom to exit a toxic workplace, give time to family, take a health break, or choose meaningful work with a lower salary. That is why wealth is not the name of just a big car or an expensive house. Real wealth is that time which you are not compelled to sell, and those decisions which you can take without fear. It is difficult to leave this journey to willpower. An automatic transfer or regular investment as soon as the salary comes can build discipline, which reduces the need to repeat the decision every month and emotional interference. But before automation, the budget will have to be looked at. If credit card debt is increasing after investment or basic protection is missing, then the system is not making wealth, it is only hiding risk in another place. If income increases, the contribution can also gradually increase. It is not necessary to stop lifestyle completely, but turning every raise into spending quietly finishes the future self's share. The right amount does not come out from any one internet formula. Looking at the goal, income stability, dependence, debt, emergency reserve and risk capacity, it will be decided how much to invest and where to keep it. And remember, just keep buying does not mean blindly keep buying everything. It means keeping a diversified plan chosen after research continuously funded, according to one's capacity and time. So the lesson of this first part is not just that start investing. The real lesson is that today's money can become a bridge between the future self, inflation, and decreasing working time. Description. But now the most difficult question is in front. How much part of the salary should be saved? How much should be invested? And is holding cash in anticipation of the market falling really wise? In the next part, this very decision will open whether to save first or invest, how to make a start in a small income, and what is that common financial advice which _NIC's data turns upside down.
If this video has taught you something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible, but in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.